Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I have a very special guest today, Elizabeth Gall from Nova Scotia, the Annapolis Valley, I believe. And Elizabeth used to live in Toronto, but has been down in our beautiful Canadian maritime province for several years now. Elizabeth is a yoga teacher, an energy worker, body worker, and also a cancer survivor. A very interesting story over the last 5 or 6 years. And so, welcome, Elizabeth. Great to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to our conversation.
Great. So, these little conversations or authentic dialogues, as I like to call them, we aim for about half an hour. Sometimes they go a little bit over, but that's sort of the bottom line is a 30-minute chat in which we can explore a bit. And I believe from our little pre-recording connection that neither of us are really prepared with an agenda or specific questions, so we're just going to wing it and improvise, be in the moment, as they say, the eternal moment.
I like that idea. I like just going with the organic flow of what comes up.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
So maybe we could, in the spirit of not knowing what we're doing and loving it, we could just, just maybe close our eyes for a moment and do a little, very short mindfulness exercise, just like centering ourselves and noticing maybe what wants to come up or what's calling attention from the back burner or the deeper level of our being. Take a deep breath maybe, and those who are viewing and listening, welcome to do this with us. Okay, that wasn't very long, but better than nothing. Uh, so a question that I often ask guests is, it really interests me, is the following. Is there a time or an event in your life, Elizabeth, that was a turning point or a moment where you had an insight, perhaps, or some kind of a spiritual experience um, that determined to some extent the direction that you would go in?
Hmm. Great question. And I've had a few of those, and I'll even go way back working with you years ago. You guided me through an experience, and it was one of the first times that I really connected with the inner light within me.
Mm,
So that was a huge, because I remember drawing the picture, and I probably have it somewhere if it survived the move down here. Um, but that has been a wonderful foundation, and it helped me to have a deeper connection to my inner light, my inner soul, if you call it that. Um, but the most recent pivotal time for me is going through cancer treatment and the diagnosis and all of that entails. Um, and with my background of a yoga teacher and meditation and energy worker, it was really interesting because I thought I was already really good at living in the present moment
yeah.
and surrendering and being mindful and all of those things. But being in the hospital and going through all of what I went through in the last 5 years, all the different surgeries and treatments, I really experienced a whole other level of being in the present. And of all of these practices that I've been doing over the years, it just took me to a whole other place. And it is an incredible pivotal point. I feel I'm still going through it 5 years later because it feels like everything got stripped away, and all that was left was my essence
Hmm.
And now it's kind of putting the pieces back together, but none of them fit the way they used to.
Mm, interesting. Yeah. So stripped away. Well, you did have some practices though that you had brought along with you. So I'm wondering if, as I understand, you've pretty successfully come through that period. Um, and I'm wondering if, because of your resources, your inner resources, and most of all, your essence or your soul, we could call it, um, that played a big part in your ability to recover. Yes?
I believe so. Because my partner took pictures of me going through the treatments, and I haven't even looked at them yet. It's
Oh,
still a little
huh.
uncomfortable, but I'm getting better. I've seen a few of them.
Okay.
Um, and then to look at me today, you would never know, so the practices definitely helped. And for instance, even just being in the hospital bed, looking out the windows
Yeah.
and looking at the clouds. And, Einstein, one of his sayings was, your imagination is more powerful than knowledge. And that really holds true for me to really tap into my imagine. Like knowledge is valuable too, but imagination is also
Yes.
valuable. And that helped me a lot of the times when it was really difficult to look out the window and see the clouds. And sometimes I would see eagles, sometimes I would see angels or dolphins. And it just helped me to know I wasn't alone.
Mm.
And I've heard other people, I've worked with the death and dying before, and a lot of them say near the end, it can be very lonely, and I think I got a glimpse of that loneliness in the hospital when I looked out my window down and like the whole world was moving by and I was not included. There were
Mm.
people walking on the sidewalks
Yeah.
and I was removed from all of that. So I had a relationship with the tree out the window and the clouds.
Hmm. Beautiful. I'm thinking that, if we were constrained or restricted to only our left brain, as they call it, the cognitive, where things supposedly make sense, um, going through a deep, life-changing experience like that, death-defying even, um, it could be very lonely, even though there's an infinity of details and data that we might be able to access through knowledge and remembering the facts. But the right brain, which is the portal to the imagination, as you say, and the heart and the soma, the body, in Mother Earth, um, the higher intuition, really in the spiritual plane, you might say, it provides a much broader landscape. And as you say, you sort of made friends with dolphins and eagles and various archetypes, that would present themselves to you in animal form or whatever. Yeah.
And I
Wow.
feel too that the more I could, I also did some artwork, some drawing of my journey in a journal.
Right.
And I feel the more I could express this, it let go of that um, very subtle inner struggle because there is like whether it's fear or fear, worry. Um, I didn't want to go into that place or increase that in my body. So I would lay in bed, working with affirmations, which are like prayers to me,
Right.
and then um, drawing, just to keep the energy moving so that I wasn't struggling or tuning into this anxiety or angst.
Hmm.
So it was really also another level of coming back to the present moment because in the moment, everything was okay. I was alive and
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
So it just really validated all of these teachings about being in the moment,
Yes.
maybe finding pockets of comfort in the soma
Yes.
in the moment.
It's exactly the soma in the moment. It's a refuge, really, because when we're in the past, very often we're regretting, remembering things that we've done. I'm noticing that these days as I get older, I'm approaching the big D, right? Death. That I'm remembering all these little things that are so cringeworthy. And oh my God, I did this and or I should have done that. And then being in the future, worrying about what might happen or what could happen, that stress and the pressure of having to make something happen. Either way, it's not very comfortable or useful, even for the most part. But being in that precious eternal moment, it's a
Yeah.
hard concept. Like for somebody that doesn't understand that or has never experienced that, how would you how would you explain something as simple as that phrase, the moment, the present moment, being in the present moment? There's a verb
Yeah.
and there's a noun and an adjective.
And for me, it's feeling connecting with the body.
Okay.
And you've mentioned this before too, when you put your hand on your heart.
Right.
Like that's something so simple and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't cost anything. And then for me is maybe put my hand on my heart, but
Mm-hmm.
also just feel my body and my breath
Right.
and maybe do some breathing, focus on the inhalation, the exhalation. And also I remind myself that if I am having this inner struggle, the cortisol is releasing, all of those unhealthy hormones that create inflammation
Yeah.
in my body. And at this stage of life, whether it's cancer or not cancer, um, aging, I don't want to have those extra hormones in my body because it really messes me up.
Right.
I don't feel good,
Yeah.
so that's how is just being still, maybe put my hands on my heart and breathe.
That's the trident. Such a powerful symbol in different mystical traditions. So there's like a threefold benefit when we put the hand on the heart. First of all, there's the faculty of touch to our own
Mhm.
body, so like double whammy. We're not only touching, but we're being touched. And then there's the on the heart chakra, which is kind of our central one. And they say the heart knows things that the mind will never understand. And then if we accompany that with a conscious breath or two, it really can totally change the scenario from being in our head and worrying and to just really slowing down and cooling down. I was just thinking when you mentioned the word inflammation, so much of disease and discomfort is from one kind of inflammation or another.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
and it makes me think also of those Tibetan yogis, that are up in the Himalayas, just wearing a little towel or nothing, sitting in the ice, meditating happily, and they have learned to cool down their body, I guess,
Mhm.
or slow down the circulation in such a way that they can be totally peaceful without the heat. But of
Mhm.
course, the heat is still there. The heart is still beating. The blood is still carrying that. As my friend Jocelyn says, every cell has a spark of the Buddhic plane or the higher intuition light. As you started our conversation talking about light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then too, the more I can just be in my body, like feel my diaphragm. Can I bring, breath into my diaphragm just at the lower rib cage there? And can I bring my brain, heart, and body in one place?
Mm,
And that's something I work again with imagination.
yes.
So if I can sit and allow the breath and the awareness of my body to
Mm-hmm.
bring my mind, heart, and body in one place. And those words help me as well.
Could you give us a sample, if you remember, of one of your favorite affirmations when you were during that period of receiving all those treatments?
Mm. Oh, yeah. I would say I am safe. I am protected. I am connected to my innate wisdom. I am healing.
Right.
Yeah, another thing that really helped me is to remind myself of this innate intelligence within me
Yeah.
that beats my heart, that grows my fingernails, and it's always wanting to work to bring my body into homeostasis.
Mm.
So breathing in the hospital wasn't really a big practice for me because it didn't smell very good in there.
Mm. Yeah.
So that kind of went out the window. But I was able to, and now I've reconnected with that
Mm.
breath, but I was able to really work with I am safe, I am protected, my body is healing.
Mm. So I have an idea. Um, I love to go for the experiential, right? And some of the courses that we've participated in together combine some elements of the Hakomi method of body-centered, mindful self-inquiry, and the Coruscant method for authentic voice and dialogue. So I'm wondering if we could just create a very small little exercise for the people that are listening and watching, where what you said, if you can remember that affirmation, if you could, I could prepare the group in mindfulness, and then at the appointed moment, you could say that, but in the second person singular rather than I am safe. You say you are safe, and all those other three or four things that you mentioned. Could you do that
Sure.
in a
Yeah, I would
nice,
love
in a nice sort of calm, slow voice, so that it
that.
can go right into the unconscious, and maybe elicit a little bits of data that might bubble up into the conscious mind. Great. Okay, so folks, just take a deep breath, maybe to a conscious deep breath or two to make a gentle transition into a slightly slower state of mind where you can be relaxed but alert and just a little quieter, a little slower, and especially observing, witnessing. When you hear the words, we call this a verbal experiment in mindfulness. So when you hear the words from Elizabeth, just notice what happens, what comes up in your own field of experience. And that could include your physical body, including your subtle body, energy body, your thoughts, your emotions, maybe. So you'll have a feeling or an emotion or a memory or an image could come or an impulse of some kind. It's all good. It's just information. Um, so take those breaths now and just sort of slide into that deeper level where you can be very receptive. A little metaphor that helps is like imagine throwing a pebble into a pond and watching the ripples. A lovely pastime that we sometimes engage in as children and adults too. So the pebble will be the words, the statement that Elizabeth will offer you. The surface of the pond represents your mind, your awareness. The ripples will be whatever response, like an automatic response or reaction that you notice in your field of experience. Okay? So I'll just move my finger when the time is right. So just notice now what happens when you hear the following words.
You are safe. You are protected. Your body is healing. You are not alone. You are safe. You are protected. Your body is healing. You are not alone.
So just take note of what you first noticed. There might have been one or two things that came to your attention. If we were in a little workshop, we could share our impressions. But I could share mine. I did the exercise and I just felt so. I almost started to cry a little bit on the inside because I these days I'm just working so hard, doing all these little practices to try to be healthy, be a good little boy, and sometimes it's just a bit too much maybe, and I lose hope, or I think "Oh, this is such hard work." So it's just the idea that that support, healing, and safety, it's here, it's there, that I can ask for help or just be open to receiving the nurturing from the universe, from the Creator, from my own true self that you mentioned. It sort of relieved me, and I felt sort of a little vulnerable in a nice way. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing, and thank you for providing the space to share this. And I want to mention, I feel like these practices and a lot of the experiences I've had really weave into what you're working on with the resilient aging. So I'm really looking forward to what you're offering, because it really, with me, my pivotal point was cancer, but also I'm also aging. So these practices are so wonderful to because it is definitely a different stage, and it is definitely for me a pivotal point because the body, everything doesn't work the way it used to. So how is it working for me today? What's possible for me today? Um, it's definitely, we could have many conversations, I feel, on this topic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, aging, we're growing closer to death or the passing or transition, whatever you want to call it. We don't think about it much when we're young, and we almost feel kind of immortal or whatever. And then it starts to become more and more real, especially if we start losing some of our faculties and our marbles, as they say. We start thinking about it. What can I do to be of use with whatever is left of my life? And how can I cohere? As you were saying, you like to get your mind, your heart, and your body sort of working as one coherent unity or system. But if the body is falling apart in different ways, which sooner or later tends to happen, just like we can see the crumbling of the old world order in geopolitics on our planet, right? The community of nations, things that we've always sort of taken for granted. It's not like that anymore. So it's a turning point, a passage, for the humanity and even the Gaia, the planet itself, with the environmental crises and so on. And each of us individually, we're faced with tremendous challenges. And aging is just one whole additional set of challenges. But it's a beautiful time of life, really. It can be a golden age. Um, so, what would you like to? I mean, you already have, but as far as your own practice or career, or because I know that you like to offer your wisdom and your experience with others, and you've taught yoga, body work in the past. What would be the next step for you, Elizabeth, in
Yeah.
evolving?
Hmm. And that's the part of the puzzle I have many ideas. I'm wanting to create experiential, maybe a circle of
Yeah.
teaching of what I went through and how to bring this into your day-to-day lives. Um, so that's kind of the direction I'm going, but it's too soon to know. It's in the pregnancy incubation state right now, which
Mm-hmm.
can be frustrating at times because
Yeah.
I feel healthy and ready to work, but the time isn't, there's, I have to lay some more fertile soil. I have
Right.
to till the ground a little more.
Yeah.
But that'll be coming in the future. I feel inside of me there, I'm preparing some courses um, to share with others. I
Wonderful.
do also believe that if we're here on the planet now, we are really meant to be here at this time.
Right.
And there is an importance that we have to offer a gift, and not just myself, but anyone is here now. So for me, it may be creating a course or an experiential thing where people can connect more with their inner gift,
Yeah.
which I am going through now, and have been. Um, and when I was going through treatment, I almost died 2 times.
Hmm.
And it was really an interesting experience because I had no fear. Um, and I just felt that my time isn't, I'm not meant to leave yet.
Hmm.
And so, like, darn, on one level, because it's so much easier to leave some days, right?
Yeah.
But I'm here to do more work and to
Right.
offer more of the gifts. And I'm not 100% clear, but more
Sure.
to be continued.
Right.
To be continued.
Well, that's an important part. Maybe even the first half is having that clarity about a sense of purpose, and that I mean, we never know, but as a feeling that there's something yet for you to offer to unfold, whether it's even your personal experience and illumination and enlightenment and all those great things, and or service, to others. Because I know people, lots of friends who of my age, especially, or a bit younger even. They say, "Oh, I'm ready to go anytime. I've lived a good life. I've fulfilled most of my goals. Swing low, sweet chariot coming for to carry me home." But but I feel just the opposite. No, 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 not yet. Please, not yet. I've wasted so much time uh, that I want to kind of cram for the finals, maybe, or make up for lost time, um, and find out what is the more specifically what if I don't want to waste more time, how can I economize and cohere and align and work with the divine geometry of my soul and personality to find the optimal path of service. So it's multifaceted, of course, but so I think we're sort of in the same boat in that way. Um, and another
Yeah.
thought that's come up again for me lately is the idea of group work and unity. That as important as it is to find our own path, of course, and independence, and but it seems like more and more what is needed and what seems to work is when a group of people can come together with a in a movement or with a goal or a service project. So that really interests me. How can we build healthy communities of people who
Mhm.
are becoming more and more conscious and self-aware at the same time individually, but then bring our gifts together in like a family or community or so it sounds like maybe you might be offering something in that realm as well.
That's very much in alignment to what I'm feeling inside of me. And it's
Yeah.
really, um, I feel it really bubbling inside because I have all these creative ideas,
Hmm.
and it is bringing people together, and it's
Hmm.
being of service. And I call it, because I don't feel I'll be teaching yoga the way I used to,
Right.
in person.
Hmm.
Um, I may still, I may focus specialty in different special areas, more meditative movement, something like that, just to get people more aware of their body and taking them to a
Right.
different place of energy awareness. But also bringing people together and being of service in a way, because I know I'm here for a reason. There were 2 times I should have been, I
Right.
could have been gone.
Bye bye.
Yeah. so I'm still here, and I also hear you when you say making up for lost time, because now it's really I find at this stage of life too is and really valuing my time,
Yeah,
my energy,
yeah.
and what am I thinking about? Like really valuing my thoughts and energy in my everything,
Hmm.
and clearing this mental space and physical. I'm in the process still of clearing physical space to make my home
Right.
have that empty container so that I can create more with more clarity on what's next. But I love what you're saying about bringing people together in community. I feel there's a very longing for that.
Yes.
It's really interesting. I've been having conversations because I haven't been able to work. I've got this little 1 day a week job in retail, which I've never have been in retail in my life.
Uh-huh.
And it's in a little vintage clothing thrift store.
Mm.
So this is yoga off the mat, where people are coming in and we have these incredible conversations. They are so conscious
Hmm.
conversations, and people are craving for connection, you
Beautiful.
know.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, I'm just really being open to what the universe is guiding me to and what
Hmm.
I'm feeling, and these inner urges to create and offer something where we can come together and create together, support each other together, and bring out our individual gifts or
Right.
legacies. What do we want to leave behind as well? I think that's something as well as that legacy. Um,
It's such a beautiful metaphor that any occupation, any job, or vocation can be a spiritual one with multifaceted, as you say. So people are coming into the thrift store to maybe to find a piece of clothing that suits them and it doesn't cost too much, perhaps, and they're maybe recreating their style. Who knows? Yet, and you provide that, and at the same time, the inner part that is not clothed, like when we go to the next life or whatever happens after death, we don't necessarily have physical clothing. Now, maybe we are clothed in light or music or something like that, colors, who knows, but you're able to kind of address maybe the part of them that wants to clothe their spirit as well as their physical carcass. So there's a spiritual dimension to what you can offer there.
That's a beautiful analogy. I love the words, the way you put it. And it's been my experience that people, a lot of them aren't even wanting to shop.
Right?
They're just wanting to come in to see the colors. Maybe they're having not a very good day,
Hmm.
and they know that someone's going to be there. So, to see the colors of the clothing and to have a conversation, because they may be feeling like, I don't know what they're feeling, but I've observed, in these last 3 years that I've been there 1 day a week. And it's been really eye-opening, and that's what's been saying to me, it doesn't matter where you are to have these conscious, authentic dialogue, these conscious conversations.
Exactly.
People, including myself, are hungry for it.
Hmm. Very true. So much. It's really an art or science whose time has come. um, so just before we say goodbye, we could go on, I'm sure. But I'm wondering if, maybe some people that are watching, they are currently uh, experiencing a condition, an illness, cancer, or something else, or they have a loved one and they're a caretaker, caregiver, which is very difficult. It has its own set of challenges as well. Um, is it maybe you could share a gory detail? Just we don't, if you maybe it's too soon yet, but a
No,
a gory detail of your own experience with cancer and the chemo and all that kind of stuff, and then sort of, if you can, stitch it together with uh, a pearl of insight or something that you might offer people in the present moment for their
okay.
situation.
Okay, there was one that came to mind right away, and it was some incredible pain. Like I've always felt I could handle pain pretty good, but this pain was something I've never experienced in my life.
Mm,
And it was from the damage from the chemo and the
mm,
chemicals. And so I had bags of ice in my groin area, just so the coating, none of the medication would
mm,
work. So the pain was, I've never experienced anything like this
mm,
before. So what helped me with that? Again, with the imagination. And a friend said to me, and she was an angel because she read it in a poem. I don't know where the poem is,
uh-huh,
but she said, can you find a pocket of comfort?
uh,
So to me, that has really, not only in that time when I couldn't find any comfort and to get through another minute was almost unbearable, but working with my imagination again and
mm,
finding a pocket of comfort. I could find a pocket of comfort in my shoulder or another place in my body. And that was a game changer.
mm,
Those words of finding a pocket of comfort. And then I would just focus my energy, attention
mm-hmm.
in that area of my body.
Right, beautiful. So combining the art of being in the present moment and a specific physical location together, and then coming out from there or staying there if you need to.
And I did work with the breath then. I was able to breathe
Right.
and start, and for me the breath too was helping me to connect with strength
Hmm.
and the life force energy.
I can imagine down the road, maybe you'll open your own vintage store. You can call it Pocket of Comfort, and you'll have a back room where there's workshops and massage therapists and things like that.
That's a great idea. Oh my, yeah, energy is a big thing though. I run out of steam.
Yeah.
But that's a great vision. I love that. Maybe it'll be something similar, but
Yeah.
in my own home.
Sure, sure, yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
energy is so, I mean, when you look at the economy of the world and our behavior, there's so much energy is wasted. And and individually, as we age, we have to become economists. Either that or
Mhm.
swing low, sweet chariot. But if we want to survive and have any kind of comfort at all, we have to become masters of, how much energy. I almost drowned 3 days ago.
Oh
Well,
my goodness.
yeah, I got caught in a current and waves, and I realized I'm a bit out of shape. I haven't been doing my weights and push-ups and so on. And I was calculating quickly in my mind, do I have 30, can I go for 30 seconds or 1 minute until I reach the bottom rung of the ladder that went up to the dock? Yeah, it was a wonderful little experience, a brush with
Wow.
death. Yeah. But I was
Wow.
measuring and evaluating how much muscles I had, how much strength in my arms, and it wasn't that much. And I was being buffeted and got some mouthfuls. Yeah, so that was like an
That's
extreme moment. But generally speaking, we have so much. In the morning, we wake up and we have a certain measure of gas in the tank, you might say, or fuel.
mhm,
And so, how are we going to spend that? We can blow it all
mhm,
in the first hour and a half, and we can spend hours doom scrolling on the iPhone. So many ways we can spend the energy. So it's
mhm. Or we could spend it, thinking good thoughts
yeah,
and going to swim again and being mindful of maybe not going so far or,
right,
just being more pay attention.
exactly.
But wow, I'm so glad that you made it back to the dock.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad to live another day. Yes, and yesterday I did go swimming again, but it was calmer. But in the future, when it is a bit wavy, it's usually one side of the dock. It's a big long dock. One
Yeah,
side is wavier and the other is calm. So I'll go with the calmer side,
yeah,
and not
yeah, yeah.
close to the end where the current is. Well, anyway, Elizabeth, it's been a real slice of life being here with you for this time. Thank you so much. I
Thank
know
you.
you told me you have a busy day today, so I really appreciate your
Mhm.
being fully present here too. That's really noticeable.
Yeah. Thank you. I felt very present and I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share and there's so much we can talk about with these great topics. So thank you for the work you do and continue. And I look forward to your next offerings as well.
Very good. Yeah. So, do you have a website yet, or?
Not as yet.
Okay.
I'm rebuilding it
Okay.
after everything, so
Okay.
it's to come.
Very good. Well, maybe we'll have you back again sometime, and then we'll put your link to your website underneath.
That
And
would be lovely.
yeah, and for those who might be interested in the Resilient Aging Forest of Elders Circle, the first one, maybe the only one, who knows, but it may grow into a kind of a community, will be on September 6th. So I will put the link to that somewhere soon. And you can see both Elizabeth and myself there. It'll be on Zoom, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
All
Thank you
right.
so much,
All
Hugh.
righty. Sayonara.
Bye bye.